One of my favorite books was Donald Miller's A Million Miles in a Thousand Years, and he talked in this book about the fact that Hollywood bought the rights to one of his books, Blue Like Jazz, and he decided he would be the actor that would be the most likely person to play the main character because it was a book about him. And they basically said something like, no, you're too boring. And so Donald set out to live a life that was worth being made for a movie or something. And not really like that, but that's sort of what kicked off this Million Miles in a Thousand Years journey. And I was just thinking, if I'm gonna start doing a lot of video blogging, man, I'm gonna have to start getting a little bit more interesting because, you know, otherwise you're just gonna see me sitting in different parts of my house typing a lot, or, you know, the occasional conference I go to and things like that. I wish brands were a lot more realistic about what's going on in their world. I wish they would say, okay, I just had a spill in my kitchen and I had to clean it up, and I grabbed one of the cleaner things I bought, and as I sprayed it all over, I saw this orangey kind of color, and I was like, oh, why is it orangey? And then I read the side of the label and it says real citrus something or other, real citrus action. And I thought, there's nothing citrus in this except for a scent, right? Like there's not a freaking bite of orange in this thing. But they're copying the all natural products that have that. I wish they'd say something like, look, do you want clean or do you want natural? Because it's two different things. You can get certain levels of clean with natural. You might have to work a little harder. Or if you're a lazy bastard, I'm gonna give you a bag of chemicals, but it'll clean wicked fast. That's what I wish they would say. Because then you'd be like, yeah, well, let's go chemicals today. I live in a really small town right now. I'll be moving to a somewhat bigger town when Jack and I are getting ready to move in together and get married. And I like it. I like very small towns. I like traveling to big places, but I like being from somewhere nice and small. It is so cold outside right now. How cold is it? Like 10 degrees. The other day I went outside and it was 15 or so degrees, or 20, I forget, and I had on shorts. Oh my gosh, what a horrible idea that was. So this is right beside my house. So I am judgy sometimes. If you ask Jack, she'll say I'm judgy a lot of times. One of the things that I find so strange is people's interest in lottery. Lottery, I was told a long time ago, and I believe it, lottery is a tax on the poor. When I watch people talk about their streak of luck or their methods or their ideas or their systems for something like scratch tickets, it just blows my mind. I mean, sometimes people win. My dad's pretty lucky. When he used to play, he would be pretty successful. But then again, I buy video games, right? And you don't get anything back from them. It's just an entertainment. You don't make any money from them ever. So they probably look at me being stupid for having video games. We have the most annoying convenience store in this little town. There's some great stores a little further off, but the convenience store closest to my house, the most convenient of the stores, there's no prices on anything for the most part, and that means that the guy just makes up prices, and they're always some price I don't really want to pay, and someday I won't, but usually it's a thing that I want at that moment, or that my kid wants, and so I go for it. So did you see a concert by the One-Ups, or did they just have a desk?
A concert.
No kidding. Were there just tons of screaming people? How did you deal with the noise? Was there a lot of noise at the convention?
Yeah, but like I just dealt with it.
Do a lot of game developers go there, or do a lot of indie game developers? Is it mostly indie gamers? Do you remember when we had the food trucks in Texas when we went to the Screw Attack Gaming Convention?
Yep.
Do you remember what you discovered that you liked that you didn't know that you liked? Do you remember having pulled pork sandwich?
Yep.
Do you remember liking it so much you asked for another one? So what do you think of the Switch so far? Do you have any new Switch games, or do you just have the ones that we played together?
I have some new Switch games like Blaster Master Zero, some Neo Geo games, etc.
You know, sometimes you see some passive aggressive stuff, but this is pretty funny to me. I didn't put it up, I don't know. We have very, very passive aggressive neighbors. What grade are you in now?
9th.
What do we do every Monday morning when we go to school?
Get coffee and donuts.
You get the donuts, I get the coffee.
And I also get coffee.
And you get coffee.
No, my hair got the frosty.
It's 9 degrees right now. Since you've been alive, there haven't been as many insane snowstorms.
Really?
Not really, there's been some good ones. Good morning, could I have a medium iced coffee regular? Can I have a large hot coffee black with just one equal? Off to school with your monkey face head. I'm back from the gym. I've got just had a phone call with a first-time author looking for a little bit of advice because he's got a book that he's hoping goes really big. I'm gonna publish a podcast next. I've got to publish a couple, so here's what it's like to record a podcast. I've already done the interview, so now I'm just doing the parts that go in between the interview. What does it take to develop a personal brand these days? How can you become known? Well, luckily for you and me, there's a brand new book out called Known by author Mark Schaefer, and I sit down to talk to him about it. Right before a huge nor'easter here in Boston, we're going to have a crazy amount of snow. You can find out a lot more about this. You can go to businessesgrow.com for Mark's site. You can follow Mark Schaefer on the tweeters. You can find him at Mark W S-C-H-A-E-F-E-R, Mark W. Schaefer on the tweeters. And you can go to cbrogan.me/known to get Mark's book. Talk about totally meta, but I am recording a new video blog. I'm practicing video blogging on YouTube. And so as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. And it's kind of weird because I'm talking to you, but also talking to my video camera. And so then I stick a Facebook post up, and then I post a tweet. And then kapow, I've got my podcast episode all handled. Everything's done there. It's out to the world. I will go and refresh those promotions a little bit later on. And now it's on to publishing a blog post. Last video I showed off how super messy my desk is, but you know, it's all cleaned up now. Another book I'm reading, also Lead Machine by my buddy Rich Brooks. For some people, a blank screen, you know, when you get ready to write your blog post or your story or whatever, is the scariest thing in the world. For me, it's not. I don't have any problem. How to get started in video blogging. Yeah, okay, so blogging, I was working on a blog post. Hey buddy, what are you working on? What are you playing? A game?
Yep.
What game is it?
Tim Dash. Yep.
Let me see. Whoa. But then it's back to work again, so there's always that. I'm always happy for the work I get to do. I think that the best thing I can do every single day is try to find a way to be helpful to others, and that's the best choice. I'm not saying it because I'm talking to you, I'm saying it because that's how I wake up. How do I help other people? That's how I think.